Om Asato Ma Sadgamaya Tamaso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Today is the day of Mother worship, Jagaddatri Puja. So, let me ask you a question. Is the realization of Vedanta possible without Mother worship, Shakti Sadhana? No. Don't go by belief. Tell me by your experience. Is it possible or not? It is impossible. Why? No, the simple reason is it's our vital energy that takes us to the highest awareness. Unless this vitality is awakened and directed, unless Shakti is involved, there is no realization of Shiva. This is the actual fact about practical spiritual life. We may use methods of inquiry and Vedantic methods and all that. But actually, you know what you are doing? Psycho-spiritually, you are only using the highest vitality, vital energy. In Sankhya psychology as well as in Shakta philosophy, it is seen like this. All of the energy in our system, you may call it, there is mental energy, psychic energy. There is the vital energy coursing in our veins, which gives us the sense of vitality. And there is also this vak, ability to speak, that energy, ability to sense things through the sense organs, that energy. It's all Mother's energy. It is all the energy of the Divine Mother. You are only doing Shakti Sadhana. And when we use a method of inquiry to reach Brahman or do meditations to reach Brahman, again we are only, thought is nothing but one of the highest expressions of this vital energy. So again you are only using Shakti. You may not know the philosophy, but you are only doing Shakti Sadhana. And that's why if thought is not acute enough, inquiry is not perfect, and meditation is not real, you will not realize Shiva. You need to utilize full Shakti, which is in us as our vitality to reach the highest knowledge. In Sankhya, in Shakta philosophy, this is so beautifully given. See, usually we understand by Shakti Sadhana, it is worship of the Divine Mother. Yes, definitely it is worship of the Divine Mother. She is in the form of all things around us. She is in the divine image. She is also within you as your vitality, vital energy. So unless that is involved and trained and raised, you cannot realize Shiva. Only through Shakti Sadhana you can realize Shiva. And in the devotional parlance or language, that's why we say the key to Brahma Jnana is in the hands of Mother. Only Mother matters, for the sadhak. That is why only Mother matters. To one who wants the realization of the highest, Mother is all sufficient. You go to any of these Shakti pits, and spend some time there. Don't just go like a tourist and come back. Go and sit there every day for at least 3 days. If you sit there long hours, you will see the upsurge of energy there. You just have to sit quietly and you will feel the impact of the place. So Shakti is required for the realization of Shiva. Anybody who has had this higher knowledge has only manipulated Shakti. We shouldn't use the word manipulated, means handled Shakti or used Shakti to go to the highest knowledge. He may know it or he may not know it, but that's what he has done. Without her permission and without her consent, nobody can get this knowledge. So now when we ask questions like, I am doing so much of inquiry and I do this Vedantic sadhana, Shravan, Manan, Nididhyasan, why am I not getting the experience? It's an intellectual concept with me, but it's not an experience with me. You haven't handled Shakti the way it should be. That's the answer. Thought, emotion, these are some of the finest expressions of your vitality, vital energy. Check and see in your own system. You don't have to believe me. When you are absolutely concentrated, your thought is like a weapon. It will uncover any secret of the universe. This is how scientists and philosophers have discovered things in this world, discovered the great mysteries of the universe. And if your thought is, dysfunctional or just scattered, disoriented, do you think it will yield knowledge? You must know how to handle vital energy. Anybody who has been successful in the world or in the spiritual life has done Shakti Puja, Shakti Sadhana. Otherwise, it is impossible. This is the difference between a really great person and a mediocre, ordinary person. This is the difference between the concentrated and the unconcentrated. Mother, that's why you know how she is described. She gives both bhoga and apavarga. Bhoga, apavargada. She is the giver of here, knowledge here, experience here, and the highest knowledge. If you know how to worship her. And otherwise, nothing will happen. A very mediocre life of scattered energy. No real knowledge, no real devotion. So you must choose whether you want to be mediocre or really excellent. When we tell kids, you must excel in whatever you do, we should have first taught them how to handle their system. Then they will excel at whatever they do. Because that has become a concentrated mind and energy. This is very important part of training, human education. And so we must understand these fundamental ideas. If we want to be successful in our spiritual life, if we ask questions like, I did so much of sadhana but nothing happened, then something seriously wrong in the way we have done the sadhana. Mother will lead the knowledge of Shiva. That's her, that is where she wants to be raised. That's her home. How will she not yield that knowledge? But you must know how to perform it. So you see, for all sadhaks, this is very important. If you perform sadhana in places where that vibrancy is there, quicker this happens. I told you Shakti Peeths. They are centers of great energy. You must sit there and quietly choose a quiet spot away from crowds and do the sadhana. Any temple will have extraordinary energy. So use it for sadhana. And Himalayas, the whole place is vibrant with energy. Use it for sadhana. That Kasar Devi temple is right here. I don't know if you all have seen that Kasar Devi temple. That's the place where Vivekananda also did sadhana. That place is really something. It's in fact, even NASA has discovered how vibrant that place is. Extremely powerful energy is there. It will awaken. See, whatever paradigm I give you, a real Shakta will say, yes, the Kundalini awakens. A real Vedantin will say, yes, my inquiry was successful there. For whatever paradigm you use, the essential thing is this much only. The state of pure awareness comes when your psychic energy, vital energy is in a certain level of vibrancy and complete balance within itself. When it's not scattered, when it is raised to a certain level, it will yield knowledge. Knowledge means here consciousness. So this is the graded path. That's why you see in Shakti Sadhana, in all these philosophies, they will not even talk of the goal. They will only talk of the method, the way. Isn't it? In the life of sadhana, that is what matters. You must perfect the method. The end will come by itself. Think of the goal so that you invoke the energy to go there and then use that energy. That's the main thing. Even to convince another, you require energy. Isn't it? It's all the play of Shakti. To do anything, to think, to get knowledge, to actualize what you know, For everything, it's all the play of energy. How you use energy, accordingly, will be your fruit of your experience. And that is why don't skip Shakti Sadhana. It is only through Mother, she is the gateway to this highest knowledge. If we do not know any form of Shakti Sadhana, at least you can pray to Mother, isn't it? That itself will concentrate the mind, and prayer will lead you to the next step. Prayer teaches what you need to know. So at least pray. And her nature is, she is all compassionate. Know for certain, she will grant us what we want. Mother grants us what we want, actually. Daya Rupe, Daya Drishte, Dayadre, Dukkha Mochani, Sarvapattarike Durge, Jagadhatri Namostute. That is her pranam prayer. She is the very epitome of compassion. It's in her eyes. And she is Dukkha Mochane. She removes the sorrows of devotees. And whoever wants to attain whatever, she is the giver of that. And she is Durga. Durgati Pariharini. Removes all Durgati. All obstacles, whether in your material life or spiritual life, she will remove. Only you must appeal. You must know how to do it. Become sensitive to the vitality in your system. That is the way to achievement. That is the way to excellence, perfection. Otherwise, simply leading life like, I told you, like sleepwalking, that makes no sense. The worshipper of the Divine Mother becomes a powerful being. What he says, what he does will have impact. One who cannot worship the Divine Mother, which means one who has not awakened the vitality within him, will be poor in everything. No use feeling bad about why I am not able to achieve, or feeling jealous about somebody. You must build yourself first. Where we invest our energy and our time, according to that will be our fruit. So high level achievement, whether in the world or in spiritual life, comes only through the Divine Mother, through the worship of energy. So first learn how to handle energy, then we'll come to awareness. This is the fact about spiritual life. All the yogas and everything, they are only meant for this. So if you are more interested in the subject, you can watch the videos on Shakti Sadhana. They are on YouTube. How the Sankhya and this Shakta philosophies have told us, what they tell us about Shakti, and how to worship her, and how she transforms our consciousness and yields the highest level of consciousness, Brahman, Brahma Vidya. So practical methods are there for those who want to follow. An inquiry becomes a realization, and a method becomes an actualization only through Shakti. Remember this. There is no other way. So let's go into now verse number 17 of Advaita Makaranda. See, his observation, I told you this text speaks directly to the soul, directly to the truth within us. So you see the powerful observation he is making now. Tathapi abhati, 17th verse, I am reading. Kopi esha vichara abhava jivanaha avashya. No. 1 minute. Let me split and read. Avashyaya chidakashe vichara arka udaya avadhi. Even so, this mysterious life without inquiry, like a mist, shines within the space of consciousness until the rising of the sun of inquiry. Without inquiry, it's like the mist. You're seeing mist, isn't it? Every day almost. So this mist rising covers up what is there. So also the truth about our real nature is covered up by the mist of ignorance until the rise of the sun of inquiry. See, inquiry is a thought form. but it is no ordinary thought. Vedantic inquiry, if it is invested with vitality, vital energy, if you inquire like that, it will achieve a breakthrough in your personality. It will give you instant knowledge. Yes? So this is how it is to be used. This is the way you recover your true nature and remove the mist of ignorance. See, the beginning of spiritual life, it begins with, I really don't know anything. I don't know the most important aspects of life. The sorrow of not knowing is to be felt. If you are already dead sure you know everything, I'm a double PhD. If this kind of silliness is there, this knowledge will not come. One who can sincerely stand before God and say, I really don't know anything because I have not known anything by myself in the first person. I have not had any higher experience. Give me knowledge. He will give. So the pain of not knowing is to be felt. You know, a lot of a child's agony is the agony of not knowing. He sees a world around him and he only listens to what his mother says about it. He doesn't have original knowledge of it in any way. And that's why he cries, he fears, he's angry. It's the pain of not knowing. We also should feel that pain. And in the first person, how much have I known? Only that much is my value. So it is this pain which leads to the pursuit of knowledge for its own sake. This is sadhana. See, if we can create even a handful of such minds, and amongst women, real Brahmavadinis will come into this world. You know, pursuit of knowledge for its own sake is the most important thing in human life. Not because it's going to get me a career, a profession and money, and not because of all that. The value of knowledge is it liberates the mind. It clears this mist. That is why. And it purifies your entire system. It brings you everything in spiritual life. That is the value of knowledge. That is why single-minded pursuit of knowledge is tapasya. That is sadhana. It is there in the Taittiriya Upanishad, you know. Single-minded pursuit of knowledge is tapasya. There is no other tapasya. Tadvidhi tapa, he says. And if this single-minded pursuit of knowledge is there, everything else will fall away from you. You don't have to struggle with it. A person who pursues knowledge is not attracted by silliness. So you see, that is why knowledge is supremely purifying. I always say this, nahi jnanena sadrusham pavitramiha vidyate. Bhagavad Gita says there's nothing more purifying than knowledge. But who understands the worth of knowledge? Who understands this? Tatsvayam yoga samsiddha kalenatmani vindati. The yogi, the real yogi who has gone far in the path of yoga, he realizes the value of knowledge. Because knowledge is instant liberation. So ability of the human mind to use thought like a weapon to put down the other sanskars. This ability we have to achieve. Then only inquiry will work for us. If there's a lot of clutter in the mind, it will not work. It's just like another thought. So this is why verses like this are, see, from the vantage point of his realization, he's giving out these truths. The author, such powerful verses. Look at the next one. Ajnana mahanidra jrumbite asmin jaganmaye dirgha swapne sfurantyete swarga mokshadi vibhramaha. When this long dream of the world manifests in the great sleep of ignorance of the self, these delusions such as heaven and moksha manifest. The ultimate truth. See, long dream of the world is going on. because knowledge of self is not there. And you're cooking up all worlds of sojourn and what will happen and what will not happen and where I will go after death. And even moksha, it's only a concept for most people, isn't it? It's a conceptual idea, nothing more than that. So all these are also like dreams. The soul is dreaming because it has not seen the glory of self-knowledge. It has not had that touch. So it will keep thinking, like as if you're going to see, you feel you're very much here now, and so I will be going somewhere else after death. Check and see if you're very much, what is the meaning of very much here now? What is there now here? You as your body, you're hardly aware of your body, I'm telling you. Unless you are made aware of it. If I shake you now, you'll become aware of your body. Otherwise, you're not aware of the body at all. And your thoughts, you are always seeing them as like, before you. You know what you have been thinking. So you are not even your thoughts. You are only fundamentally aware. Awareness is so primary an aspect of our being that we miss the point. And body consciousness and thoughts happen in awareness, can happen in awareness. And they move in and out of awareness. So awareness cannot travel anywhere. Everything is happening in awareness, isn't it? So there's no actual traveling anywhere. If you're identified with the source of your being, with pure consciousness. But if you're identified with body and mind, which is pure assumption, it's not our experience at all, then yes, we are going to travel very far. This loka, that loka. I can give you a series of lokas. You can choose. Depending on your karma and sanskars, you will travel. Right here, right now, check and see what travels and what cannot travel. In your awareness, all this idea of traveling, perception of traveling, lokas, everything is going on. Right now also, see, we identify ourselves as we are in the Himalayas, we are in the Pangot retreat center near Nainital, in Uttarakhand. We are identifying ourselves like that, but only your body is here in this particular location. Even your mind is not here. Mind can be anywhere, right? And your awareness, it's even subtler than the mind. You can't even say even subtler. It is the source of your mind and body. It is all that there is. It's all pervading and everywhere. Causeless and luminous, of the nature of existence and bliss. So you actually don't travel anywhere. All traveling happens in you, in fact. You remember that incident, that person who was groaning in front of Raman Maharshi, saying, I'm having to move away from you after having lived 40 years, 30 years or something in your presence. And Raman Maharshi loudly announced, see, this man lived with me for 30 years and now he says he's going away from me. How much of Vedanta has he understood? There's no going away or going into. Because all traveling is happening only in your mind and only in your awareness. Don't worry. Nobody goes anywhere. You can say heaven, hell, all these lokas are extreme poles of your own consciousness. As if consciousness can have poles. What I mean to say is, if you are in a good state of mind, and just now you think your mind, then you are in a sort of heaven. If you are in a bad state of mind, you're a sort of hell. But you actually don't travel anywhere. See, physical body falls off. Mental body, we think it travels. Just now, you see, if you think of London, your mind is in London. But you call that travel? Something like that happens even after death. And then in your awareness, there is absolutely no travel because everything is happening in awareness. So don't worry so much about what happens after death. Live your life well here. Pay attention to the two factors I said, karma and sanskars. Do a lot of Vedanta, do meditation, worship the Lord, serve all beings. He is reflected in all beings. This is the way to live well here. And don't worry so much about the future. So this is why he's saying this is where all the delusions of heaven, moksha, etc., manifest, right in your awareness. From the standpoint of self-knowledge, heavens, hells, lokas, and this moksha, everything is a delusion. From the standpoint of the mind, it has some reality. And from the standpoint of body, it is absolutely real. Please know this. It all depends on where and how you are identified. Yes? That's why Vedant will always tell you, whatever is there is here and now. Even realization is here and now. Only that disconnect from what you are not has to happen. That's all. Instead of simply assuming things, just inquire and find out. And if you have the sanskars, inquiry can become a very powerful thing, and it will, you crash into the truth right here and right now. So don't worry too much about all this. Otherwise, these stories which our Puranas are full of, where you will go after death and all that. Okay, and you can really get completely involved in that and not aim at self-knowledge here. That also can happen. What will happen in heaven and what will happen in hell? If your whole day you are engaged in that, don't worry. Here you dive deep into sadhana. That's the most important thing. Only they need to really worry who don't do sadhana. Then you are at the mercy of your past karma. Jada ajada vibhaga ayam ajade mai kalpitaha bhitti bhage same chitre charachara vibhagavat. Which means, in me who am sentience itself, this division of sentience and insentience is imagined like the moving and unmoving elements on the smooth surface of a mural. See, it's a very beautiful observation again. Now, Dada was telling me how he put into this AI, are you conscious? And she gave such a nice answer, telling, he said quite an extensive answer. And she says that, no, I'm not conscious. I don't experience things as humans do. And I don't have first-person experience at all. I'm only programmed to give you information, and depending on the algorithms and the programming, I give my output. So I do not have any form of experience. So you see, what we are calling sentience and insentience, we must now try to deeply understand this. Sentience means that which has life. Life means that which has first-person conscious experience. Right? Keep your terminology very clear. It will keep your thoughts clear. Or rather, it's actually the other way around. If your thoughts are clear enough, your terminology will be perfect. What is sentience? What is life? It is nothing but first-person conscious experience should be there. And what is insentience? No first-person conscious experience. But Vedant is throwing tremendous insight into what we are calling insentience also. What Vedanta will tell you is, Brahman is manifest. It is Brahman alone which is all of this sentience and insentient. The sentient and the insentient in the world is nothing but Brahman. Not that they are in Brahman. It is Brahman that is appearing as them. See, this is key point in Advaita Vedanta. A stone may appear insentient, but it is Brahman, because it is Brahman appearing as the stone is, it has existence. It is not yet manifesting consciousness and bliss, but it has existence. Anything existing is Brahman. When will it show consciousness? If there was the reflector of a mind, only mind will reflect consciousness. Stones don't have minds. All insentient objects don't have minds. So there is no reflection of consciousness there. So you cannot detect conscious experience in an insentient thing. So you call it insentient. But it is verily Brahman. In the life of Thakur, you please read the life. What in his period of sadhana, that first 12 years, what wonderful experiences he had, where he saw the whole of life around him completely sentient, full of life. And he puts it, the divine mother manifested in all beings, all things. When he would sit for puja, even the altar would appear conscious. The items of the paraphernalia of worship, that koshakushi, the spoon, everything is conscious. What does this mean? Everything is conscious, and he is vibrant with the knowledge of the Supreme. And so a cat comes in and he feeds her, the Naivedya to her. The Naivedya meant for the mother, because it is she only who has become this. This is what he is seeing. And what are we seeing? We are seeing even the conscious as unconscious. Our problem is we are so dim in terms of awareness. We even see a living being as an object. Isn't it? Huh? See, this is the difference between a saint and an undeveloped person. They see consciousness everywhere. We see even the sentient as insentient. In Thakur's life, you'll see even he would sit in the Panchavati, everything around him would be aglow with consciousness. He's seeing Brahman everywhere. This experience continued so much in his life. You will see in the pages of the Gospel, almost every page he will give you how I had this transcendental experience, where I actually saw Brahman manifesting in all beings. He goes to a pond, Moti Seal garden house. He goes and into a pond, there's fish squirming there. And he looks at it and he gets stunned. He says, it is Brahman who's moving about like this. I literally saw that he is squirming around in this fish, appearing as the fish. Everywhere he is having that experience. That's why then he uses the illustration of a wax garden, analogy of a wax garden. You remember in the Gospel it is there. He says this entire universe is, as it were, made of wax. And everything is, these trees and leaves and fruit and people, all are made of wax. And that wax is Brahman, infinite divine consciousness. Everything is only Brahman, appearing as in so many different ways. One substance. This was his perpetual state of being. You can't even call it state. This is the reality of existence. So this is what they are trying to say. The difference between sentient and insentient is very superficial. Today you go to primary school textbook and they will say difference between living and non-living. And what are the differences they outline? Living things move. Non-living things don't move. Living things can interact. Non-living things don't interact. Living things reproduce. Non-living things don't. Is this the way to demarcate the two? We have not understood. See, you should pin down what conscious experience means. That is the way to come to this knowledge. The more consciousness studies will develop, better and better insights we will have into sentience and insentience. Nothing called insentience exists actually from the Vedantic standpoint. It has not yet manifested as a conscious being only because of the absence of a reflector of consciousness. But that very same Brahman is there also. Isn't this a tremendous thing to even think of? Tell me. That is why then he went around worshipping everything. Thakur, in that state, he went around. He said that I wanted to offer flowers to mother. I went to the tree and I saw it as a big vase already offered to mother. It's all mother only. So I ceased from plucking flowers. Look at the experiences. You please read that portion of many times we have read that, Thakur's sadhana and the perception he gets. This is the actual fact of life. Only Brahman is manifesting. Our silly, conditioned minds, are giving us all wrong ideas about what is. How beautiful it would be if we had only the perception of one consciousness, tell me. So then you would be me in another form. That is how I would see you. So then only kinship, only love. I would treat you exactly as I would treat myself. This is all there is of religion. This is the meaning of religion. It was meant for this. Instead of making all kinds of divisions and demarcations and discriminations, an untrained mind will do that only. Religion means the perception of unitary consciousness, which is the truth of existence. So when we learn to see things as they are, we are called saints. And when we learn to see things as they are not, we are called ordinary people. So we must change our perceptions. The way to change this perception is to transform your consciousness. Our present consciousness is invested in an egoistic identity called the individual, the jiva, identified with the body and mind. This should switch. That is why all sadhana. That is why, some things you should make clear to yourself as a result of this understanding. Strong body consciousness, strong sense of identity based on ego, it is maratmak. It is a low state of existence. It will take you into delusion after delusion. Create a great culture. That is why, you people will be responsible for the culture of the future. Create a culture which advances the highest levels of knowledge and which is sensitive to these perceptions. That only is fit to be called a culture. Because our upcoming generations should get that idea from us, isn't it? This is the actual state of affairs. I have to raise myself to be able to see this. So this kind of an enlightened society is required, where individuals are seeing things as they are, not messing up in their minds. So that is why again and again you see the picture of what the sage sees is being given here continuously. All these verses are, that's why they are wonderful. See, he also says the division of sentience and insentience is imagined like the moving and unmoving elements on the smooth surface of a mural. They are both on the mural, but they appear to be moving and unmoving. Yes? Doesn't this happen? See, this is how it is. In the firmament of consciousness, we are seeing some things moving, some things not moving. And we conclude that the moving is sentient, the unmoving is unconscious or insentient. There's nothing unconscious. There's nothing insentient. This is what they are saying. So walk through life sensitively and sensibly. Anything that you put under the category of insentient will, it will revolt against you. Because that is not the truth. Anything you objectify will revolt against you. Anything you make your own will work for you. This is the law of life, isn't it? Love is the law of life, that is why. Love is the only law of life. Even the mischief maker, the person who angers you, even that is you in another form. Yes. It's your mind giving you wrong information. This sense must come into us. The deeper it is, the more you will see life will be wonderful. There's only one consciousness. Love, that's why it's the only law of life. Love, forgiveness, and acceptance, a sense of kinship with everyone. This is the only law of life. And anywhere where we don't obey this, how the mind justifies itself, it will say, the actual thing is that there's something very negative there. That's why I saw negativity. Actual thing is I was deluded. So I saw negativity. You see in the lives of these saints, uh, how many things have seen this life of Mirabai, Prahlad, how many negative things in their lives. Holy Mother Sri Sharda Devi was surrounded by all kinds of people in her family. You know that mad aunt, no? How she would insult mother in so many ways. And Radhu was so troublesome. And her selfish brothers. And see, a divine being living in the midst of all this, and how she handled it. So, from all these saints, we should learn this. Somewhere deep within you, convince yourself there's no evil. It's an appearance. It's an appearance of a deluded mind. From the standpoint of mind, it's very real. Okay, standpoint of consciousness, there are no dualities. So even evil is unreal. So Q&A, I know you'll ask me, Mataji, how can we with such a philosophy go through life? But at least now let's listen to the highest. Okay. Now, let's go to 20. Chetya uparaga rupa me sakshitapi na tatviki upalakshana eveyam nistaranga chidambudhe. Even my witnesshood, which is dependent upon connection to mental activity, is not real, but only an assumption in this waveless ocean of consciousness alone. See, even our witness consciousness, what we are calling, when you look at it from the standpoint of mind, no, witness consciousness appears real. But even that is unreal from the ultimate standpoint. Only consciousness is there. It appears as witness consciousness to convince your mind of the truth of Vedanta. It appears as mind to convince your senses and body of the truth of Vedanta. It appears as the world of objects to delude you. One consciousness alone is making all this appearance. There is no duality at all. This is what they are saying. Only one non-dual satta, consciousness, existence itself, appearing in so many forms. So, when you try to know consciousness through the mind, you will come across all the philosophies. And all of this understanding will come. Because you're trying to understand it with the mind, no? Mind will give you many theories, many kinds of perceptions. This is how the philosophies are born. Refined mind, working, trying to see one consciousness. And so many philosophies will be born. But if you look at consciousness cannot be known through a mind. Shad darshanena pai darshan. That song is there, no? Ke jane re Kali Kamon. Thakur used to sing this song. Who knows who my mother Kali is? The 6 philosophies, Shad darshan cannot give a hint of her. The mind cannot give a hint of her. To know her, you must dive into consciousness, transcend mind. So that is why you see what we are calling knowledge. Understand its depths. Knowledge attains its highest level when you know the source of knowing itself. The source of knowing. Not the triad of knowing. The source of knowing. From that vantage point, you see how you are knowing things, how you are perceiving, and you know everything. That's why they say the knower of Brahman knows everything. Isn't it? We are looking at it in bits and pieces. See, in a jigsaw puzzle, no? If you found only few pieces, you won't make sense of the whole thing. Isn't it? Or you will be deluded directly. I must be able to put all pieces together. Then only I will know the whole thing. Exactly, we are like that. Each science is giving you snippets, subsets, you can say, of the reality of existence. But if you want to know existence itself, you must dive into consciousness. So this is what he is saying. Even my witnesshood is a delusion. There is no such filter between consciousness and the mind. Because I'm coming in through the mind is creating all this, building up an apparatus for you to go to self-knowledge. The creation of mind. Witness awareness, it does not exist. This is what he's saying. Now I'll I'll tell you how they are seeing this. Okay, I had given you the example of this green table, isn't it? There is only wood there. It is appearing as green table to your equipment, isn't it? There is actually no green table there. Now I can say no, that wood is appearing as green table. Not that green table is in wood. See, when we say no, this Jagat, it is in Brahman. Brahman is the substratum. It's all wrong. Finally, from this standpoint, only it's not that the world shines in Brahman or world is Brahman. Brahman appears as the world. Brahman is appearing as the world. Wood is appearing as the green table. And there is no astitva of green table at all for you to say green table wood has become green table, or green table is actually wood, or the substratum of the green table is wood. All that is false. Are you seeing the difference? Now, bubble and foam and everything, wave is all water. Actually speaking, only water it is. It appears in all those forms. Isn't it? Because temporarily it appears as something and then it goes back into water. What's the reality of a wave? Only water. What's the reality of foam? Only water. But the appearances can be so many, you see. So it is like that. The one consciousness is appearing, because it appears as mind and body, it also posits a witness consciousness, which is witnessing the activities of the mind, so it is a link to pure consciousness. We think like that. But he's saying all of this does not exist. From the standpoint of Brahman, nothing else exists. That's why, the highest Advaitins, they even bypass Sagun Brahman. Have you seen? Totapuri didn't accept Mother Kali for a long time. Then he was made to accept. But he didn't accept Mother Kali for a long time. A staunch Advaitist can show these characteristics. For him, Brahman has become so real. See, actually, if you see that the green table, if the wood has, it is only wood, you will bypass what you see as green table. You will discount it. It won't mean much to you. Isn't it? Once you are a staunch physicist, color, very well, it's nothing but an interpretation of electromagnetic radiation to your senses and mind. So the reality of color is not that big a reality at all to you. It's something like that. So for the staunch Advaitist, that is why he discounts so many things. So let's leave him to himself. Because from the highest standpoint, he can become like that. But for us who are sadhaks and who are wanting this knowledge of Brahman, everything matters. That is why. Go through that kind of discipline which will help you get the highest perceptions. The truth of Brahman. This is the goal of human life. Any other goal human life has? Do you think? See, because I work in these IITs, in the first class, if you want to introduce something like this, you can't say this is the goal of human life, because they have actually no conceptual knowledge of all this at all. So then we always tell them that, see, now you're going to get a very good job because you're in IIT, and then your dream job, and then your dream home, and then you provide for your family, then you make your own family. Still after that, what will happen? You will keep asking, what next? What more? Next step. What is the next step? So since this is there in us, that anything coming into our lives doesn't give us the ultimate satisfaction, and we are always asking for what next, what next. So there is something which brings you to ultimate satisfaction, which I will introduce to you, and so Brahma Vidya. Like this, you have to go. Because, a young mind, a 20-year-old, is looking up to life. He has not yet seen the source of life lies in consciousness. And this is the study of consciousness. Isn't that the connection between life and consciousness? Tell me, what do you think? Are there two different things, life and consciousness? See, what you are calling life is nothing but the manifestation of consciousness through this wiring, this body-mind complex, through your nervous system. You are experiencing consciousness as life. And so, there's a deep connection between life and consciousness. The manifestation of consciousness is what is called life. So if I have to know life fully, study life, shouldn't I know consciousness? I want to live a full life, we say, which means full vitality, which means deeply awakened awareness. If I don't pay any attention to awareness, by full life, what will I mean? More and more objects gathered around me so that I remain stimulated all the time. That is no life. Check and see in your own life. Overstimulation, is it life? It's the drain of energy. It's the drain of vitality. It is loss of life. Awareness is life. Awakening is life. So first we must get this knowledge, and then you bring into your life whatever you want. You bring in the second car and the new home and your dream job and everything. But there must be knowledge of awareness. Rather, there must be deep awareness. Knowledge of awareness means always the first person experience of deep awareness. Then they will automatically come into your life, don't worry. Such energy you will have, you can accomplish anything. So that is why Brahma Vidya, Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. Mundakopanishad has this tremendous observation. It's a grand statement. Brahma Vidya, Sarva Vidya Pratishtham. This knowledge of Brahman, it is the basis and support of every other branch of knowledge, every other science. It does not deny any other science. It is the basis of that science. See, this is the glory of Brahma Vidya. Every science is accepted, but without the science of consciousness, nothing will make much sense. Whether you go deep into physics or mathematics, still you will have to come into consciousness. You know what is actually called a fundamental insight, whether it is in any scientific subject or it is in philosophy. What is called an insight is nothing but such piercing observation or knowledge which ties up a huge amount of subsets of that knowledge. It ties up enormous, gives you the link between. Actually speaking, what is knowledge? It is finding the hidden links between categories in any sphere of knowledge. So this insight into the nature of consciousness will give you tremendous, whatever you will apply your mind to, you will be successful there. But with the awakening of this knowledge. That is why Gayatri was given at the age of 8. Upanayana ceremony was given at the age of 8. So that before he enters into real knowledge, the entire mind, brain, radiates dhi. You must be ready for knowledge, isn't it? A stupidly conditioned mind will not hold knowledge. So, and it is very effective if given at that age or even younger. I'm telling you, all these things are magical in effect. If you have done it, you will know. For the complete awakening into knowledge, you require this dhi. Dhi means Dhyo Yona Prachodayat, you're saying in Gayatri. What does that dhi mean? It means your ability to remain open to truth, intuition, that capacity. You're seeing reality as it is. Tremendous energy it will give to the mind and remove all blocks in the mind, all obstacles. And your ability to hold knowledge and the essentials in your memory will become tremendous. I can tell you from my own experience, this works like magic. I received the Gayatri at the age of 5. Yes. And this capacity to gain knowledge by insight more than by deliberation comes through Gayatri. And capacity to hold on that memory, that smriti by which you can hold knowledge and not lose it. I forgot what I studied. All the silliness will not come because you're in an aware receptacle, you're holding thoughts. Gayatri gives you all these higher faculties. Prajna is higher awareness. Then buddhi, which is the intuitive capacity of mind, higher intelligence. Then smriti, the highest level of memory, where nothing escapes your mind. And then dhriti, the higher will, which means you can hold on to knowledge all your life. A silly mind cannot hold on to knowledge. Ideas that don't mean anything to them. But an awakened mind, knowledge is the primary thing. And medha. Medha means that kind of intelligence which finds the link between categories. So when you dive into a scripture, you will know what they are saying, what they mean to say. That is medha. All this comes from Gayatri. Because it's a prayer for awakening the dhi. Some higher capacity develops within you if Gayatri is there. I have seen many of my students like that. I'm really telling you, IIT is a class by itself, okay? And in the classroom will be many shining faces. And they are absolutely concentrated. This is what I like about them. Essential thing you can actually transmit. There is this idea of constructivism in education. Have you heard of it? It's an important educational theory, cutting edge theory of education, which means, see, it's not about pouring some idea into that other person, but the teacher can have the capacity to replicate the same experience he's speaking about in the student, if the student's mind also is well developed. Are you getting it? It's an inspiration that the teacher transfers. And he touches that point where the way the teacher has realized, the student will touch that. It's a realization. And that's why the teacher is, irreplaceable. Artificial intelligence or a robot can only give you information. The teacher will give you inspiration. And so he's irreplaceable. This theory of education, constructivism, has now come about, so they want to maintain the classroom, the teacher-student relationship. Otherwise, Google can give you everything, isn't it? But the teacher gives you inspiration, and the way that idea was realized, the teacher will give that. And information you can gather from Google. It's like that. So teacher is always irreplaceable, especially in spiritual knowledge. Only one who is fired up with an idea can transmit that idea. And an unconscious system is not fired up with the idea, so it will not transmit the idea. Isn't it? See, that lady, what's that her name? ChatGPT. She herself will tell you that I am an unconscious system. I do not have first-person experience. I will only give you information based on my programming. Yes. So that's why it takes awareness to awaken awareness. We have 2 more classes. Okay, then let's stop here. So tomorrow, day after, we'll do the rest. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.